Hey folks, welcome back. So it's been a while, sorry about that. Daily life stuff and particularly work stuff has gotten in the way recently, and I haven't been able to really have any time or energy to make videos. Particularly, I was aiming to do more tutorials and keep doing the Cuboid tutorials and start getting into more complex stuff. But unfortunately, making tutorials takes quite a bit of time, and I had to start doing editing and stuff to make everything work. So I'm going to have to put those off for a little while, but just to get back in the groove for now, I thought I'd do a little unboxing for you. And you can see some of the stuff is not actually in a box. So the reason for that is I had done an unboxing on video for you guys a little while ago, maybe 2 months ago. And unfortunately, I didn't notice at the time that various receipts and stickers on the box that had my name and address and phone number and all sorts on there were in the shot the whole time. And they moved around in the shot during the video, and it just would have been really horrible to edit all that stuff out. So what I decided to do was to save those new puzzles and show them off in a subsequent video for another unboxing. So that's what I'm doing today. So what I'm going to do, I'll talk about these guys that are out of the box first, which is what I was going to cover last time. I've been spending a lot of time with these puzzles since then, so I can give you a good idea of what I think and whether you should get them or not, depending on your preferences. And then I'll open the new box behind them, which is actually already open, but I have not actually touched the puzzles inside yet, and that's a new order from CubeZZ, I believe. So without further ado, we'll start with the simplest and work our way up. So here we have a set of regular N by N cubes. These are actually the mini magnetic Speedcubes series from YJ. So all of these puzzles are substantially smaller than their normal full-size equivalents. All are magnetic, all are really excellent speed puzzles, but they're also really cheap. So even if you're not interested in speed cubing, I highly recommend these because they just turn really, really great. They're a real pleasure to use, and you should have the N by N cubes in your collection, really. So you might as well have good ones, right? I think this one cost me about £7. This was about 10 or 11. And this was 13 or 14, so highly, highly reasonable. Even cheaper than the MGC series. The MGC series, also from YJ, is their higher end option. And that's what I use when I'm really going for good times and stuff. But these are what I use now most of the time, actually, for just casual solving when I'm sitting around the house, you know. So to give you an idea of the size difference, so this is the mini 3x3. I believe it is 50 millimeters along each side. A standard 3x3 is about 56 usually. So here's a more standard size 3x3. This is the MS 3x3 from Qiyi. A very, very nice puzzle. It's not to everybody's taste because it has a particular turning style. It's a little bit sort of squishy, as you can see, but I really like it. When you put it next to the YJ, you can see there's a pretty big difference. And that big difference makes this puzzle way more applicable for things like one-handed speed solving. And actually, you know, despite the size, the performance is really excellent. So I haven't really noticed any decrease in my solving times, or rather increase, from using the Mini. So, you know, it's a no hesitation recommendation for me, unless you have really gigantic hands and it would just be impractical. But definitely a good little 3x3 to have in your arsenal. Also because it takes up less space, you can fit it discreetly into a bag and carry it with you wherever you go, and be a really cool guy solving a puzzle on the train or whatever. But yeah, it also has really good corner cutting, as you can see. Pretty much 45 degrees it'll cut. The magnets are not super strong, I would say, mild to medium strength, but certainly enough, as you can see, to keep things aligned even when you're turning, you know, with a reasonable amount of force. So it's a great little puzzle. The 4x4 as well is really good. This one, it's a little bit sticky in a way. It's kind of, you can hear that it grinds quite a bit. I've done a little bit of lubrication on this. I haven't really got it to the level of performance of, say, the MGC 4x4 or the other 4x4 I'll show you in a minute. But again, for convenience and just, you know, I can have this sort of unobtrusively sitting around the table in the living room and just enjoy solving it without taking up lots of space. So I really, really like this puzzle. It definitely was a valuable addition to my arsenal of 4x4s. 4x4 is actually probably my favorite N by N puzzle to solve. And so I own a lot of 4x4s. I've gone through a lot of different brands of 4x4 speed cubes looking for my favorite. My favorite is still the MGC 4x4. but this one is probably my second place. The new guy is a real contender, though, and I'll show you that one in a minute. So actually, what I'll do is I'll compare this to the MGC. So right here we have the MGC in its beautiful box. So this is the kind of mid-range price but high-end performance series from YJ. And we'll just use it to compare the size. As you can see, again, pretty significant size difference. A little bit less noticeable difference than between the 3x3 and the standard 3x3, but still it's notably smaller. And some people really like smaller 4x4s for speed solving. I would guess that maybe there is a small increase in speed because, you know, you're just turning things that little bit less distance. But who knows, really. However, for when I want to get my best times, the MGC 4x4 is the way that I go, typically. It's just, I'm used to it. I've got it set up exactly the way I like it, and it just turns so beautifully. This is the one that at least I know recently Felix Zemdegs was using this one, so got some pedigree behind it. I'm not the only crazy person that likes that puzzle very much. But anyway, if you want a small 4x4, get this. If you want a speed 4x4 and you don't have much in the budget, get this. It's cheaper than the MGC. Nice and compact, but it'll definitely get you the performance that you would like. And if you're not a speed solver, but you want a nice 4x4 that's a pleasure to use, then this might be a good option for you as well. Finally, this is the mini 5x5. I was really skeptical about this puzzle because, you know, the size, the dimensions on the CubeZZ website really surprised me. I thought that's just too small. It's not going to be good. It's not going to be pleasant to use, but I was completely wrong. I freely admit that. It's a wonderful little puzzle. It really is. I've been shocked at how much I like this. 5x5s in general are really, really good. Like the real kind of name brand 5x5 Speedcubes are uniformly pretty much excellent. And this one's no exception. It's just a lot smaller. You can actually see, if I put it next to, this is the standard 4x4 again, the MGC. The 5x5 is actually a bit smaller. Maybe, you know, 1 or 2 millimeters smaller. So it's really, really tiny, but I don't have any problems with things popping or things catching despite the size. I don't feel like I'm any less agile with it than I would be with the larger puzzles in the 5x5 region. So I'm a huge fan, honestly. The price difference for the 5x5 is actually a little bit less in that it's only slightly cheaper than the MGC 5x5. So I think if you want to get this one, it really should be about, you know, you prefer the smaller size. If you don't prefer the smaller size and you just want a good 5x5, I would get the MGC because that's a wonderful puzzle. And it's only slightly more expensive, like I said. But wow, this was a real shocker for me. Really, really excellent. And yeah, so that's the YJ Mini Speedcube series. Moving on up from there, recently Moyu came out with 3 of these Skewbs that have additional bits on each center. I've unfortunately forgotten the name of the series, but you can easily find these on all the major cube retailers' sites. There's 3 different versions, like I said. This one has 3 pieces in each slice in the center of each face. There's one with 2 slices, and there's one where each of these sections is just one big piece. So they kind of, you know, each one is those others are slightly easier than this one. But I really like this puzzle. It's an interesting kind of hybrid thing because on the one hand, you can just solve it like a normal Skewb. You know, I don't have to touch any of those things at all in the middle. I can just use it as a Skewb, and it's actually a pretty good Skewb. If you do turn too fast or cut too much of a corner, sometimes these guys will fly across the room, so be aware of that. But if you're hurting for a regular Skewb and you want to have some additional features, you might want to look into one of these. As far as these pieces in the centers are concerned, they're really fun to play with. So basically, they don't come into play unless you stop in the middle of a Skewb turn. Then you can do stuff like this, and you can slice them up, and you can start, you know, mixing them up with other bits and chop those out. And it all starts to look really odd and messy with little bits sticking out all over the place. So there's a bit of a shape-shifting element to it. if you're familiar with Moyu's previous puzzle in this vein, the Maple Leaf Skewb, I believe it's called, that one had a very similar idea, a Skewb with extra pieces in here, but the way the cuts were made, there wasn't any shapeshifting. This one has a shapeshifting element. But it's a really high quality puzzle. It's pretty fun to solve. It's not hard. If you start playing with swapping these guys around, you'll pretty quickly discover some easy to remember 3 cycles that allow you to swap things around and so forth. But it does add a little bit of an extra twist, no pun intended, to the Skewb experience. And like I said, if you don't really find you enjoy that part too much, or if you don't care about it, you can still use it as a really nice, albeit non-magnetized Skewb puzzle. So yeah, that's I may look into getting the other version with 2 slices, just to see which one I prefer for a quick solve on a lazy Sunday afternoon or whatever. But I only got this one for now because I wanted to get what would probably be the most challenging one. Yeah, it's a great little puzzle. Next, I was very happy to see this one. So this is from Qiyi. This is what they call the Super Ivy Cube, but the rest of us will know as the Rex Cube. Now, there of course was a Rex Cube from Lan, which I will grab from my right-hand side here. Unfortunately, this puzzle, in typical Lan style, is very grindy and clunky. It's certainly playable, and if you sort of get rid of some of the flash from the molds on the pieces and do some lubing and stuff, it can be pretty fast, really. But I don't like to sit around and mess around with my puzzles too much. I like to be spending my time solving them. So, given Qiyi's track record on twisty puzzles recently, stuff outside of the speedcubing realm, I felt pretty confident that this was going to be a great puzzle and an improvement over this guy, the Lan. And I was really pleased to find that I was right. It really turns beautifully smoothly. It's got a bit of a ball bearing kind of feel to it, so the turns kind of click into place around the corners here. Not sure if it's magnets or if it's ball bearings, I don't know. But it feels really nice and helps you keep your turning precise. It looks really cool as well, so it's a different proportion from the Lan. We have a much bigger centerpiece. These pedals are fatter and shorter, so it's got this kind of endearing, chunky look to it. But it is the exact same puzzle. You can solve it the exact same way. It just turns nicer. And I'll show you what it looks like when it's scrambled a little bit here. But yeah, this cost me $10.99, I believe, on CubeZUK. And if you have any interest in the Rex Cube, definitely pick it up. It's a lot of fun to solve in general. It's just a great puzzle. And this is a really nice upgrade, in my opinion, from the Lan puzzle. I'm sure, specialists in speed solving this may feel differently in terms of how the Lan performs when you properly lube it up and everything, but for a casual solver like me, this one was the way to go. As you can see, it looks quite nice when it's all scrambled up. The Qiyi's doing this thing recently where they're doing stickerless plastic, but they're using tiles rather than having the entire piece colored, and that really gives you that stickered look to the puzzle, but it has the durability of stickerless plastic, and I just love that. I think that's the ideal combo, and I really hope more speedcubing manufacturers will get adventurous with their puzzles they mass produce and do tiles as Qiyi has been doing. I think it's great. But yeah, wonderful puzzle. Really, really love this. And since I've got it, sadly, the Lan is basically gone in the cupboard. I haven't really used it very much. All right, so next, this was the big ticket item in the previous order. So this is from X-Man Designs. This is the Ambition 4x4. This is a magnetic 4x4 speedcube. I wasn't interested in this at all until I saw some reviews that claimed that, depending on your preferences, you might actually like this more than the MGC 4x4. So I decided to pick it up. This was more expensive. I think it was about 25, 27 pounds. Can't remember right at this moment. But that's pretty standard for a kind of luxury high-end speedcube. So I didn't feel too terrible about that. But it's really nice. It has a weird out-of-the-box impression. it was extremely fast, and I needed to, adjust the tensions a little bit to get it more reasonable. And it's still very fast. It's easy to overturn, as you can see. But in practice, when you're actually doing a solve, it just feels incredibly smooth. I do think that the corner cutting performance is about on a par with the MGC. I don't think it's an improvement over that or anything. So I do think it comes down to your personal preferences. If you want a really fast, smooth-moving puzzle, but you're willing to learn how to control your turning, then you should look into this guy, the Ambition. But if you're on a budget and you want a world-class puzzle that's more controllable, then I would go for the MGC. You can see how the magnets are just the right strength. They just snap things right into place. I love this puzzle. It's probably one of the ones I've used the most often over the last year or so. But I think the X-Man Ambition is a contender. Definitely something that I'll be using more often. So yeah, it is pricey. So if you're not a Speedcuber, you probably don't want to look into this. But I've always been an advocate for for the base puzzles that we all should have in our collections, like the 3x3, the various n×n cubes, the Megamix, etc. It's worthwhile getting yourself a budget Speedcube version, even if you're not a speed solver, because they're just so pleasant to use. Okay, so that's a brief look at the Ambition. I'll put links in the description to pro Speedcubers' impressions of that puzzle, because I think you should listen to them and not me if you're at that level where that puzzle might be for you. Anyway, next up, so this is from MF8. I was very confused when this box arrived in the post, and it said MF8 Megamix. I thought, I didn't order a Megamix. I didn't order a dodecahedron from MF8. What could this be? And I'd forgotten that I pre-ordered this master face-turning octahedron in primary plastic quite a while ago before the box arrived, and I just completely forgot I'd done it. So here it is. I was pretty excited for this. I'm really, really bad at solving face-turning octahedrons. I only have the regular one from Land, and I've been trying to get better at it, but for some reason, something about the octahedral geometry just messes with my head a little bit, and I can't really adequately explain why. But I thought, what, if I like higher order puzzles. I really enjoy, the reduction process and all that. Maybe getting a higher order octahedron would really get me engaged and learning about how the geometry works and help me to figure out what the heck I'm doing. So far that hasn't happened, but I do really like this puzzle actually. It's very expensive for what it is. I have to say that. My pre-order at HK Now store, I paid something like $56 or something, so it's quite a lot. Now, of course, you can get it on ZiiCube or CubeZZ for less than that, but it's still pretty pricey. But it's a big chunky puzzle. Again, I'll use the 3x3 for size comparison. It's pretty large and in charge here, this guy. And the pieces are nice and big, which makes the puzzle easy to manipulate, which is always good. I like the primary plastic look. I think the sticker shades are really well judged. The blue and the purple are easy to distinguish. I might have gone for a different color than white, like a gray or a black there, but not a big deal. The green is really vibrant. The yellow is like electric. The orange looks great. I really like this soft pink. I mean, it's a good looking puzzle. However, this is an annoyance for me. I probably should have fixed this ages ago, but I left it this way to show you in this video, just so I could complain about it. I spent a lot of money for this puzzle. I waited many, many weeks for it to arrive, and there's no spare stickers anywhere in that box, and then they messed up the sticker. I mean, come on. You could just spend a few seconds to adjust it. And I really wish there were extras, because, as I spend more time with this puzzle, I've had terrible luck with stickered puzzles in the past. I'm sure stickers going to fall off or get chipped or all kinds of things tend to happen to me with stickered puzzles, which is why I don't like stickers very much. But a lot of MF8 puzzles come with spares, and all the Shengsho, big Megamixes and stuff come with extras, sometimes a pair of extra sets of stickers. So why not with this one? It's a real shame, particularly since this is supposed to be a limited edition version. I thought, throw me a bone here. But anyway, enough complaining. As a puzzle, it's quite functional. The outer layers turn nice and smooth, as you can see. No real catching, or I don't feel like anything's going to fly off You do need to be quite well aligned. There's not really a lot of corner cutting here, so just maybe take your time with it, or else you'll want to do some adjustments. You can see that, you know, even with this tiny misalignment, it's not going to go, basically. I think I've seen some stuff on the Twisty Puzzles forum about this, and I'm pretty sure you can do some decent adjustments if you can reach the screws underneath. But yeah, you know, I'm not going to speed solve this because I'm so rubbish at octahedrons, so I don't mind too much. But if you are going to speed solve it, you'll probably need to do some adjustments. Now, the slice layers are a lot clunkier. I've got to put a lot more force to make these turns, which is a bit of a shame. But it's anything like as bad as some other MF8 puzzles I have. I'll say that much. And see, again, you really have to be aligned to make it go. Oh, there we go. But yeah, I mean, for an MF8 puzzle, I have really low expectations these days after my disappointments with things like the Master Void Pentultimate and stuff like that, which is just a terrible torture device. But yeah, it's not bad. And I really like the look of it. I'm really glad to have a higher order octahedron mass produced. I think a lot of people will be excited about it. I saw that some of the big FTO speed solving channels are already covering this puzzle, and hopefully they'll start doing some cool competition solves with this and come up with some new techniques. Really interested to see what turns out to be the most efficient way to do, you know, reduction solves on this and so forth. So if you're interested in octahedrons, you know, I can recommend this, but just be aware it is very tight in these slice layers. You might get bad stickers, and there's no spares, and it does cost a fair bit. So just make sure that it's worth it for you before making the investment. If you want to speed solve it, you may need to, you know, smooth down the pieces, give them more glide, allow some corner cutting for yourself. But the movement as a whole is serviceable for sure. I'm definitely okay with having bought this puzzle. So that's the MF8 Master FTO. Really, really nice looking. All right, finally, we get to the actual unboxing in this unboxing video. So this little box here arrived from CubeZZ just yesterday. There's only 2 puzzles in here. Unfortunately, there were supposed to be 3, right? So I ordered an MF8 Icosumate from CubeZZ, but at the last moment, they refunded my money and didn't send it. But if you go to the website, it's still listed as in stock, so I'm very baffled. And it's unfortunate. I was really, really wanting to get the Icosumate. It's out of stock everywhere, except for MF8's site, which charges way over the odds for everything. So really, really disappointing outcome. But at least I got 2 things. Get rid of this stuff here. There we go. 2 new additions to the family, and then some kind of special carrier bag. I don't know what that is. Anyway, we'll start with this guy first. So this was basically just kind of filler. I wasn't sure whether I would enjoy this puzzle or not, but I do like Pyraminxes and Master Pyraminxes, so I thought I'd give it a go. This is from YJ, I believe. It's got a lovely box. I like this this lion here. It's pretty cool. And you can get a preview here of what this is, but let's open it up. I don't know is there like a certain side I should use? I don't know. All right, here we go. So what this is, as far as I understand it, is a Pyraminx equivalent of the Penrose cube. So the Penrose cube basically sort of rounds off the some surfaces on the cube, so that you effectively have 3 sides instead of 6, and you have 3 colors. This is doing the same with the Pyraminx, where we go from 4 colors to just 2. And there's going to be some shape shifting here because we do have these, these curves that change the shape of the puzzle. So I don't know how this is going to be to solve. I guess because of the reduction in colors, maybe there's going to be even less possible scrambles than there are in a Pyraminx, which is already not a particularly large amount. But I thought it'd be fun to play with. It's a YJ puzzle, so I knew that the turning is very good. It is quite clacky. That's kind of a surprise. Is there a? Don't see any ball bearings in the pieces here. But it's very pleasant to turn. It's quite satisfying, the clacking, actually. Yeah, I have no idea what to do with this.
how to begin to solve it. So I'll spend a little bit of time trying to understand the ramifications of reducing it down to just 2 colors. But I think it's pretty cool. And definitely, you know, it cost like $4, so it was an easy add-on to my order. And I'm curious to see how it turns out in solving. Maybe I'll come back and talk about it again another time if it's anything particularly interesting. I did enjoy the Penrose cube. I actually found that a little bit more difficult than I would have expected. Oh, that was interesting. What happened there? Okay. I got a little bit confused there for a second. I think that was the change in shape did something unexpected. But yeah, the Penrose cube is fun. I found it more difficult than, for example, the Fisher cube. There was something about, you know, my intuition as far as how the transformation of the Penrose cube would affect the solve would turned out to be wrong. So I had to sort of discover a new way to understand the puzzle, which was satisfying. So hopefully this will give me a bit of that in a nice and compact package, and it'll be a quick little solve. But yeah, that's the Penrose Pyraminx from YJ. So there you go. And now, oh, hang on, there's something else in here. In the box. What we got? Oh, it's just a filler. Okay. I thought there might be some extra bonus stuff in there, but I was wrong. What do you do? What can you do? All right. So move that out of the way. This puzzle was an excellent surprise. I was very excited that this was coming out. So I like the puzzle designs of David Pitcher. I often watch his YouTube channel. I'll put a link in the description. He makes some really cool jumbling puzzles and creative puzzle designs. And he had made a puzzle a few years ago called the Andromeda Cube, which I was really, really interested in. But it was only available via 3D printing. And I don't have much money, so I very rarely buy 3D printed stuff. But it was on my wish list, and I was considering, you know, whether I would put it on my in my shopping cart at Qiyi's Custom Stickers and buy one. And then suddenly it appeared in mass-produced form on the CubeZZ website very recently, and I immediately decided to add it to my cart. And so this is the Andromeda Cube. Oh, it's really jammed in here. Come on. Oh, there we go. So the 3D printed version, I believe, is substantially bigger than this. It's something like 85 millimeters on the side. This is pretty much the size of a 3x3, I think. Let's compare. Oh, no, it's a little bigger. So maybe, I don't know, 58 millimeters, something like that. So a little bit bigger. But yeah, that looks cool. Look at that. So the Andromeda Cube is a shape-shifting puzzle. I believe it does jumble as well. I'll get rid of this extra sticker over here. And it turns on these kind of oddly shaped faces around each corner. So these odd little chunks turn here. Ooh, it's very stiff. Yeah, this feels like a Land puzzle. Okay, so it's a little bit hard to see the cuts here, but that looks like it should line up. Yeah, there we go. So, you know, it's a jumbling only puzzle, as I recall. So you can see I just took a chunk from here, moved it over here, and now I can manipulate this face. But every turn I make is going to mess around with the shape of the puzzle and jumble things up. I don't believe it's going to be super hard to solve. I don't know why I get that sense. Maybe I read something about it somewhere on the forums or something, but I'm really looking forward to getting to know this puzzle. I think it's a really, really cool design. And aesthetically, it looks really cool. I love this pattern of cuts. Now, David Pitcher also made an Andromeda Cube Plus, which unbandages the puzzle. So some of these pieces get split up, and you can, you know, move and chop and change them around. And you can scramble the puzzle more. I don't know that it necessarily makes it more difficult. It might even make it easier because it would, you know, there wouldn't be so much blocking going on since the puzzle is unbandaged. But I really, really hope that Land will give us that as well. That'd be really great to see. But yeah, I'm really excited to have this. It really doesn't move that great, though, I've got to say. I don't think it's going to pop on me or anything. But, oof, it's a little bit tough going. Just for the record, this cost me about $24. So for a Lan puzzle of this size, I would say it's a little bit higher than average, and that's not surprising because there are lots of little pieces here. But it looks fantastic. Really, I love the way it looks. Oh, you can hear it sort of chunking its way across the pieces it's rubbing against as I turn it. It's really definitely going to take some breaking in. I think I'm going to have to do some lubing, maybe. But it feels perfectly stable. I don't think I'll have any issues with things exploding out of this puzzle. In fact, it's the opposite problem where they don't want to move out of the puzzle at all. Let's see, what other kind of turns can we do here? So, okay, can I do that? Just gonna, don't break. Yeah, okay, so I can turn that way. Take a chunk out that way. Then, what if I move? Okay, that looks like another cut I can use. Yeah, and what about, oh, come on. It's a bit catchy as well, unfortunately. And of course here I can turn it. Here. Oh, come on. Oh. Oh boy. Yep. Okay, so we can take that chunk out. And yeah, then we're back to this bit here, which I think we tried before. Yeah. And I can do a follow-up turn like that. See, already it looks pretty cool. Stuff sticking out. I think fully scrambled is going to look great. There's going to be lots of weird little bits sticking out everywhere. And, you know, the sticker shades are pretty nice. Not amazing. I wish they were a bit brighter, like an MF8 style thing, but not bad at all. But yeah, I have to say I'm a little bit disappointed in the turning. Also because we've got some very small stickers here, so the tougher the turning is, the more likely it is that I'll end up, you know, accidentally scraping one of those off, or they'll get chipped or something. So I'll really spend some time with this and get it smoothed out before I really get into a solve. But, you know, it's a no-brainer to get this over the 3D printed version, because the 3D printed version is like $150 or $175 or something even. And this is $24, so, you know, I'm very happy to have it. I feel like it's smoothing out a little bit as I turn more and more, but maybe that's just my wishful thinking. But yeah, so this is the Andromeda Cube from David Pitcher, produced now by Lan for our solving enjoyment. Very exciting. I really hope that you know, weird jumbling puzzles like this continue to get mass-produced more. Particularly, I'd love to see more of David Pitcher's designs come to the market. I know he also did with Lan the Four Corners Cube, which is similar to that in that you have these sort of weirdly shaped faces around each corner. That puzzle has less pieces, less cuts, but only 4 of the corners have those faces, hence the name of the puzzle, the Four Corners Cube. And that is actually coming to me probably in a few weeks. I've ordered a few things from ZiiCube, and that's one of them. So I'll also show that off. But you can find videos on that. I think even a few of the bigger speedcubing channels, like JRCuber or somebody, attempted to solve that puzzle at some point, and it looks like it was quite difficult. So I'm looking forward to that as well. Yeah, so I hope you all enjoyed that. Sorry if I went on a bit long here, but you know, since I've spent some time with at least the puzzles I showed you outside of this, these two from CubeZZ, I thought I'd do a little bit of a review and talk about the practical consequences of having owned these puzzles for a little while. So I hope that was helpful to you if you're interested in those end-by-end cubes or the new Ivy Cube, stuff like that, or the Rex Cube, sorry. And yeah, so just first impressions for these guys. This is up to typical YJ standards. Feels very solidly built, very stable, turns nicely. A little bit odd to handle because of the shape. But seems like it'll be fun to try and understand it. This guy looks amazing. It feels very stable, perhaps excessively so. So I will need to work on the turning a little bit here, but it still hasn't dampened my enthusiasm. Glad to have it. All right, so on that note, hopefully I'll see you again soon. I'll definitely be here with some more Cube Boy tutorials. I will get round to the iCue ball at some point. And when my next box of goodies comes, of course, I'll show that to you, and I'll make sure to not show you my address and phone number through the whole video so that I have to scrap it. So yeah, let me know in the comments what you think. If anybody has the Andromeda Cube as well, and you got any hot tips for freeing up the turning a little bit, do let me know. But yeah, hope you enjoyed. As always, take care and stay safe out there, and I'll see you again in the next video. All right, bye-bye.